Tonight on To The Point, after the Supreme Court's decision on homeless camping, one local city gears up to enforce its ban.
Try to find solutions so that people can get out of homelessness.
Plus, Sacramento County stops delivering drinking water to homeless encampments.
A heat wave across the western U.S. More on that excessive heat warning in California and how long it'll last.
And President Biden makes his case to stay in the race.
I had a bad night. I learned from my father, when you get knocked down, just get back up.
And Governor Gavin Newsom shows his support miles away from home.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us on To The Point. Happy Independence Day. I'm Becca Habiger, and Alex Bell is out in the community tonight. We have a lot of news to get to, but first let's get right over to meteorologist Carly Gomez with your 4th of July forecast.
Yeah, we are seeing a ton of fire outbreaks out there, and we are seeing some significant fire potential through tonight and through the weekend, really, as we are seeing that high risk for hot and dry conditions continuing into the weekend. Considerable dry fuels, a lot of grass to burn out there, so nothing good. Make sure you are staying safe. Fireworks are safe, and if you don't have to burn them at all, that'd probably be recommended as well. With your weather impacts today, the excessive heat warning extended through Tuesday night till 11 p.m. You're looking at temperatures 105 to 112 degrees into next week, with that major to extreme heat risk with elevated fire concerns as well for dry and gusty winds. Now, we are seeing that red flag warning for areas around Vacaville and Fairfield North through Clear Lake and Santa Rosa areas with dry grasses there, as well as portions of the coastal range further south. The excessive heat warning is mentioned until 11 p.m. on Tuesday. That could get extended another day. Its temperatures look like they're still going to be in the 100-degree range into next week. Through tonight, about 105 to 102 degrees, 95 at 8 p.m. Around 10 p.m., 83 degrees. We'll talk more about this heat and what to expect into next week coming up.
Not much relief in sight. Thank you, Carly. Well, now to an update on the wildfires still burning in Butte County. CAL FIRE says the Thompson fire is now 29% contained. It's burned more than 3,700 acres since starting Tuesday morning near Oroville. Now, at this hour, evacuation orders and warnings near Lake Oroville remain in effect. And new tonight, CAL FIRE says they have arrested 61-year-old Harold Pulley, who they say admitted to setting a backfire using a propane torch. He faces one felony charge. Developing tonight in Galt, investigators are trying to figure out what started a fire that burned down at least 2 houses. It happened along Emerald Oak Drive. Fire officials say the fire started between 2 homes. Both are a total loss, and a third has minor damage. But thankfully, no one was hurt. Sacramento County has stopped delivering pallets of drinking water to homeless encampments during this heat wave. You know, this was always going to happen according to both the city and the county of Sacramento. At the end of fiscal year, June 30th, deliveries stopped to 40 encampments. They were funded by American Rescue Plan dollars that no longer exist. The pandemic is over, and large encampments, they say, no longer exist.
This is a public health crisis. People need water. People are going to die on these streets.
The county says water deliveries will be replaced by gallons of water being made available through daily office hours until supplies last. The city says water can be found at 160 locations, including parks and community centers. And as our state continues to try and find solutions for the ongoing homeless crisis, the city of Folsom is taking a stand by now enforcing a ban on people sleeping outside in public spaces. Now, as we reported last week, the U.S. Supreme Court decided laws banning camping on public property are not unconstitutional. That allows Western states to start enforcing those bans once again. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen shares with us how Folsom police will enforce this ban and how community members and advocates are responding.
The city of Folsom,
it's clean, it's nice,
known as a family-friendly place, is the reason why Mike Benson made the city home.
so I really like this area.
So when the Supreme Court decided that cities are allowed to enforce bans on people sleeping outside, Folsom police came up with a plan.
We're going to have a homeless outreach team. We've started that this past Monday. We have a sergeant, a corporal, and 4 officers that will be assigned to that team.
Also known as the HOT Team, their main focus will be trying to help the homeless community in Folsom.
Is try to find solutions so that people can get out of homelessness.
People can be cited if they refuse to leave or come back, but Chief Rick Hillman says enforcement is not the main goal.
Our goal is not to burden the criminal justice system with individuals that are just camping. especially those that are homeless.
Jake's Journey Home is a nonprofit in Folsom focused on helping the unhoused. Understanding that sweeps can be traumatizing, the organization is currently working with Folsom Police to make sure it's productive and not contributing to the problem.
And they'll work with us to make it, not move them around because it's really difficult to find them, and just let it be until the system works its way out with each person.
The organization also has the same goal as police, getting people the help they need.
Making sure that there's places for people to go to get services, not necessarily housing, but specific services.
As the city continues this work, residents like Benson believe it'll take a lot more than enforcement to solve the bigger issue.
I feel like it doesn't solve the immediate issue, and further things can be said or done or put in place to actually solve the issue.
All right, Jeannie joins us now. Jeannie, let's talk a little bit more about this homeless outreach team.
Yeah, so right now this team is made up of 3 people, and the chief is looking to add another 3 positions, making it 6 people total. And he's looking to fill those spots by the next couple of months, and reiterating that this is not only about enforcement, but also educating and helping those that are unhoused.
All right, Jeannie, thank you so much. We'll continue to follow this. And after the break, celebrating Independence Day, we take you out to a live look at Elk Grove's Salute to the Red, White, and Blue event and our Alex Bell. And later, from crime to taxes, a breakdown of the measures you could be voting on come November. Well, happy Independence Day. Tonight the city of Elk Grove is hosting its Salute to the Red, White, and Blue event. And our own ABC 10's Alex Bell is the MC. She joins us live now from Elk Grove Park. And Alex, there are a lot of fun activities planned for the evening.
Oh, to say the least. Yeah, we're out here in Elk Grove. The event kicking off at 7 p.m. actually. A few changes to the schedule because obviously it's so hot out here. And we do want to let you know that the fireworks are starting at 9:45 if you do plan on coming out. So just a heads up, of course, stay hydrated. It is very hot out here at Elk Grove Park. But other than that, there are a bunch of food vendors already set up tonight. And I want to go ahead and bring in one of the main attractions, the band's Agent of Rock. I have Rick here. He is the lead singer, actually. You got your, start with your grandfather. He was actually your inspiration, right?
Yeah, he was a musician until he was 102 years old. He played with one of my bands until he passed away, and he's the one that was my musical influence in my life. So. And
we were talking a little bit earlier before the show. You actually said that you have been waiting to get in here for a long time.
Yeah, we've been trying to get into Elk Grove's concert series for a while, and we got the regrets letter this year, and then 2 weeks later got the call, hey, we'd like you to play at the 4th of July. So we gladly said yes. So.
Well, absolutely. We cannot wait to watch you perform. Thank you so much. And they are actually a tribute band, so they'll have everything from Journey to Bruno Mars. It's going to be a fabulous time. Again, opening ceremonies starting at 7 o'clock. We have fireworks coming at 9:40. Make sure that you stay hydrated. We're out here at Elk Grove Park for the 28th annual Salute to the Red, White, and Blue. Beck, I'm going to go ahead and send it back to you because we're going to get started out here.
Yes, Alex, wonderful. Thank you so much. I worry about that band getting overheated, though. They're performing. They're dancing around.
I know, and they're center stage. It's all black stage, too, usually. Right. So it gets really hot up there. We're looking at a lot of these hot temperatures continuing into the weekend. And actually our Friday and Saturday look to be the peak heat because that high pressure system sits overhead right over Sacramento and the Sacramento Valley into Friday and Saturday. Now, 4th of July highs versus the records. We did get to one record here. That is Stockton at 108, tying the 1991 record of 108. Everyone else fell just a bit short. Downtown Sacramento off by 1 degree there. Modesto off by 3 degrees, as well as Sacramento Executive Airport. Now, right now in the Big Mountain backyard, you're looking at temperatures at 102 in Sacramento with 105, 106 Stockton, Modesto, 107 in Marysville and Tahoe. Now at 88 degrees. Now your big weather impact days are lasting until Tuesday with this excessive heat warning still in effect. Now this could even be issued a little bit later depending on how long these triple digits stick around next week, but we are seeing them in the forecast at least lasting through the end of next week. As we look at the excessive heat warning, we could get as high as 112 degrees for some areas, especially further north like Colusa. Major to extreme heat risk is expected, so please limit your time outdoors. And that elevated fire concern does continue. Despite some people not having a red flag warning in effect, we're still looking at dry and gusty conditions. Now, the excessive heat warning is still in effect from areas just north, Northern California, really in the Pacific Northwest, all the way down to Southern California and most of the western U.S. dealing with excessive heat, if not a heat advisory in place. This will last through next week. Winds coming in through the Delta 25 to 35 miles per hour tonight and Friday night as well as Saturday night. Now, as we take a look here at our humidity, we're down to the teens here and even single digits for some areas. Meanwhile, we're still seeing that red flag warning in effect through Saturday with that relative humidity being so low. Our foothill spots tomorrow, about 102 in Groveland with 106 in Sonora and Jackson, 107 in Angels Camp, 110 in Ione. But look at the overnight lows. We're in the upper 60s, if not almost 70 degrees in Jackson with 76 overnight in Placerville. The Bay Area may be your way to cool off here. San Francisco and Oakland, low 70s to mid 80s with 109 in Vacaville. The Sacramento and San Joaquin valleys will be pushing about 110 to 112. And as we take a look at Gloosop there, about 115 could be possible. The next 3 days, we're looking at 105 to 110, but check out next week. As those temperatures continue to climb into the triple digits, we don't see the 90s till that following weekend.
Wow, Carly, thank you so much for that update. Next on To the Point, President Biden making his case for staying in the race. Plus what we're learning about last night's meeting with Democratic governors, which included Governor Newsom. And from crime and health care to rent control and taxes, the measures you will be asked to vote on in November. Now to your voice, your vote. Today, President Biden met with Democratic allies at the White House and holding more public appearances and interviews, vowing to stay in this 2024 presidential race against Donald Trump. Now, it comes despite calls from some in his own party for him to step aside after his highly criticized debate performance last week. Em Nguyen has the latest tonight from Washington.
A defiant President Biden staying the course, telling a Wisconsin radio show he's determined to beat Donald Trump in November, despite fallout from his admittedly poor debate performance last week.
I had a bad night. I learned from my father, when you get knocked down, just get back up. Get back up. And, we're going to win this election.
The president publicly standing firm, but privately, sources say Biden has acknowledged the next few days will be critical in determining whether he stays in the race. They said the president told at least 2 people he knows he has to perform well on upcoming appearances, including Friday's interview with ABC's George Stephanopoulos. The president, though, stumbling through parts of the 20-minute radio interview, accidentally giving credit to Trump before catching himself.
And he wants to I want to strengthen Medicare and Social Security. He wants to cut Social Security and Medicare.
Still, the president sought to quell concerns last night about his mental acuity and his re-election path forward during a meeting with Democratic governors.
Feedback was, we are all looking for the path to win.
Meanwhile, former President Trump was allegedly caught on camera speaking poorly of the president and Vice President Harris. Trump appearing to be playing golf with his son Barron, according to the Daily Beast, and allegedly calling Biden broken down and Harris so expletive bad. The Biden-Harris campaign slamming Trump for his alleged comments with the list of accusations he's bad at, including lying and taking away women's rights.
So far, 2 Democrats have broken ranks and called on Biden to step aside. Now, sources say Biden believes he's still the candidate to defeat Donald Trump, but that he's keeping an open mind about the path forward. And about last night's meeting between Biden and Democratic governors, Newsom was in attendance. He shared his thoughts on social media last night, saying, "I heard 3 words from the president tonight. He's all in, and so am I. Joe Biden's had our back. Now it's time to have his." And just hours ago, Newsom attended a political rally in Michigan in support of President Biden and Vice President Harris's campaign. After the event, Newsom sat down with our sister station for a one-on-one interview, and we asked him what he has to say to Californians who have concerns of him participating in national politics as the state deals with a dangerous heat wave, wildfires, and important deadlines this week in the legislature. Here's what he had to say.
I'm here taking my personal time to focus on democracy and freedom and focusing on a record of accomplishments under the Biden administration, second to none, on changing the way we produce and consume energy to address precisely the issue that we are addressing in California. And of course, we're leading the nation as it relates to strategies around extreme heat. I announced just yesterday before I left our State Operations Center and our extreme heat strategy that we laid out, a vision a couple years ago, in cooling centers throughout the state. And so we put that plan into action, and we're doing as best we can.
He also added that supporting Biden's campaign has a profound impact on our entire nation, including to help solve climate issues like the heat wave here in California. All right, California voters will be weighing in on some important topics in November. In addition to the measures that already qualified for the ballot by gathering enough valid signatures, last night was the deadline for state lawmakers to vote on measures brought through the legislative process. And vote they did. Altogether, we'll have 10 ballot measures with topics including crime, health care, rent control, and taxes.
Of the 10 measures California voters will see on their ballot this fall, 5 came from signature gathering and 5 came from the legislature. Let's start with the latter. On Wednesday night, just hours before the legislative ballot measure approval deadline, state lawmakers added 2 bond issues to the ballot. Proposition 2 will ask voters whether to approve borrowing $10 billion to build and modernize K-12 schools and community colleges. And Proposition 4 will ask voters whether to approve borrowing $10 billion for climate programs, including drinking water, wildfire mitigation, and sea level rise. This would help offset some budget cuts. On the topic of marriage, Proposition 3 would amend the state constitution to remove outdated language enacted by the passage of Prop 8 back in 2008, which says only marriage between a man and a woman is valid or recognized in California. A federal court ruled the language unconstitutional in 2010, and Prop 3 would remove it. Proposition 5 is a constitutional amendment question that would make it easier for local governments to borrow money for affordable housing and infrastructure. Proposition 6, known as the End Slavery in California Act, would change the state constitution, which currently allows involuntary servitude as a punishment for crime. The measure's supporters say that amounts to inmate slavery. Now to the voter-initiated ballot measures, each of which required hundreds of thousands of valid signatures. Proposition 32 will ask voters whether to raise the state minimum wage to $18 an hour. It's currently at $16, with the exception of most fast food workers who are paid $20 an hour through a law that went into effect back in April. Proposition 33, known as the Justice for Renters Act, would allow for the expansion of rent control on the local level. Currently, the state limits that. Proposition 34, as Cal Matters puts it, would require certain health providers to use nearly all revenue from a federal prescription drug program on patient care. Sponsored by the Trade Group for California's Landlords, this measure is squarely aimed at kneecapping the AIDS Healthcare Foundation, which has been active in funding ballot measures. Stay with me, we've got just 2 more. Proposition 35 would permanently enact an existing tax on managed healthcare insurance plans to help fund Medi-Cal. Last and possibly most controversial, Proposition 36 is the number given to the controversial measure we've been reporting on for weeks now. Backed by a coalition of business groups, district attorneys, and local officials, the Homelessness, Drug Addiction, and Theft Reduction Act would roll back Prop 47 that was passed by voters in 2014 and often blamed for California's crime, since it reduced penalties for certain theft and drug crimes. Opponents of Prop 36 say it's overly zealous and could lead to over-incarceration. Those in favor say it's the crackdown on crime voters have been asking for.
Whew, if 10 ballot measures seem like a lot to decide, for California, it's actually not. According to Cal Matters, back in 2022, we had just 7 measures, and at the time, that was the smallest number of ballot measures in more than a century, making this year's total of 10 the second smallest. And stay with ABC 10, we'll have a detailed breakdown of each measure in coming months. Now turning to your price points. Days after Patelco Credit Union suffered a ransomware attack, we're learning more about when things could return to normal. The credit union on Sunday had to shut down some banking systems, including transfers and direct deposits, because of that attack. It caused a lot of frustration as people tried to pay their rent and their mortgages. Now, in an update, the CEO says they're still investigating the attack, but that members' money is safe and secure. He also says they do not anticipate having their systems up and running by this weekend. Right now, Patelco says members can use Venmo and PayPal, but cannot use Zelle, online banking systems, or outgoing wire transfers. They also say debit and credit card transactions may have limited functionality, and you can read more from Patelco and how to contact them on our website, abc10.com. Stay with us. We're back after a short break. Before we go tonight, we want to take you back out live to the city of Elk Grove's Salute to the Red, White, and Blue event. ABC 10's Alex Bell is emceeing that event. It starts at 7 o'clock and is happening at Elk Grove Park. There's music, food, activities, and of course, fireworks. Now, admission is free, parking will cost you $10, and the fireworks start at 9:45. And hey, if you're still looking for a way to celebrate the holiday, you can visit our website for a list of things happening around our area. We sure appreciate you watching us tonight and inviting us into your home. Have a safe and happy 4th of July. We'll see you here tomorrow.
Hey, it's Alex. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. The To The Point team and I love hearing from you, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. And don't forget, you can always email me and the team at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send us a text message at 916-321-3310.